how do I assign high school credit using Gather Round? I mean, really, how can I create a transcript using unit studies? Well, if that's your question, then this video is just for you. I had to ask myself that same exact question when I began using Gather Round in the fall of 2020 with our 3 youngest daughters. We had already graduated our 4 older children, and we had used a more traditional approach and transcript. So at that point, I realized if I was going to continue on with Gather Round, which we loved and we wanted to, then I had to come up with a battle plan for high school. I have painstakingly spent a great amount of time trying to create this video series, make it as simple and as visually appealing as I possibly could without taking too much time. Here on Homeschool Matters, we try to keep things short and simple and to the point. So because of that, I'm going to do this series on how to create a high school transcript using Gather Round in 3 parts. The first part will be just talking mainly about the history, geographies, and government options. Part 2 will be about the different mini science options. And part 3 will be the many different elective options, all using Gather Round units. I won't talk about language arts because language arts is already built into all of the different units. So you would just simply assign 1 full credit in language arts for each year of high school. Let me remind you that 120 to 150 hours will earn 1 full credit. About 75 hours will receive a half credit, and 30 to 40 hours would be a quarter credit. So if you only read the teacher's guide and complete the worksheets in a single unit, you would easily be able to earn a quarter credit. However, there are ways to expand that to receive more credit if you do things such as do the recommended extension activities, rabbit trails, maybe doing some extra reading or researching and reporting on that, watching educational DVD, documentaries, or doing the recommended hands-on projects and or experiments. You would want to complete at least 3 units in a particular course of study, which would then give you easily the 120 units you would need to make that full credit. So let me show you how simple it is.
First, we have the 7 connecting continent units. I do highly recommend spreading out these 7 continent studies over the course of 2 years and mix in some science-based or elective units in between that for good variety. These units are fantastic. They do cover a wide range of topics. They each cover about 20 different countries in each continent. You will study the history, geography, ecosystems, culture, food, famous landmarks, plants and animals, transportation, and just different unique features about the different countries. The only one that would be different would be Antarctica, as that one is going to focus more on the different explorers who went on different expeditions to discover Antarctica. So there's a lot of great history in that one. Very interesting unit. If you do decide to do all 7 of these units, like I said, if you want to spread them out over 2 years, you could easily get 2 credits in that. 1 credit for world geography, another credit for world cultures. Of course, if you want to name something different, you can, but that's just what I would recommend. Take special note that when you do these units, there is so much information in here, and each day you're going to be studying about animals. So because you're going to be studying about animals daily, you can easily get 1 credit in zoology. And there's a lot of art in these units, so you can also get a credit in art as well. So those units are just very productive in giving out several different credits for high school. Now, if you do not want to do all 7 of the continent studies, and you're just wanting to give 1 credit for geography or cultures, you could just pick out 3 or 4 of these to do to get that credit. To give a credit in world history, you would want to do at least 3 of these units, or you can do all 4. For U.S. history, I would recommend doing all 6 of these mini units. Mini units are more specific to the topic and they have less worksheets to do. So because of that, I would recommend doing all 6, and it gives you a wonderful full coverage from the beginning all the way to present time U.S. history. These units are fantastic. You will also learn about the different presidents throughout these units as well. For a credit in Canadian history, I recommend all 3 of these units. And if you're just doing Canadian government by itself, you could give a quarter to a half credit. US government would get a quarter credit to a half credit. And one exciting announcement is that Rebecca Spooner just recently announced that they are in the early stages of working on a 50 states series. That's really exciting for those of you that live in the States and would like to study more about U.S. history and geography. So stay tuned for that. And stay tuned for part 2 and part 3 of how to create a high school transcript using Gather Around unit studies. So stay tuned for more information on homeschool matters. And if this was helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe.